Okay, so now that we've taken a look at adding and subtracting polynomials, let's think back to the next thing that we did. And after we learned how to add and subtract, we did this thing called finding the product. Recall that if finding the sum is to add things, to find the difference is to subtract things, the word product in math tells me to multiply. Okay? So that's what that fancy word means. Now, if I notice here, though, I'm not just taking two numbers. It's not like I'm doing 2 times 4. That's easy enough to do in your head or on a calculator. 2 times 4 is going to give me 8. What I'm doing here is I'm multiplying polynomials. And to do that, you have to take every term and multiply it by both terms in the other parentheses. So those two have to get multiplied together. Those two have to get multiplied together. And it becomes kind of messy, right? Now, there are two methods that you can use to do this. The first one is called foiling. And if you really want to learn how to do that, you can go back and watch the lesson videos. I'm not going to talk about that here. What I am going to show you how to do, or remind you how to do, is this thing called the box method. And basically, to do the box method, we make a box. And for this particular shape, it's going to be a 2 by 2 box, because I have 2 terms in my first parentheses and 2 terms in my second parentheses. So that's why we're going to make it 2 by 2. And I'll tidy this up a little bit. Okay. Now, when I'm setting the box up, the reason why it's 2 by 2 is because my first parentheses, the terms inside, are going to go on one side of my box. It can go on the top, it can go on the left, it doesn't matter, as long as one is on the top, and then the other parentheses, so x minus 9, I'm going to put that on the left. I could flip-flop these, it doesn't matter. Now it's time to multiply these together. And so this is a great organizational tool to help you not lose track of your x's or your numbers. I know that x times x is going to give me x squared, because x times x, it's x to the first times x to the first, which will give me x to the second, because I have to add the exponents. Okay? X times negative 7 will give me negative 7x. X times negative 9 will give me negative 9x. And then be careful here, negative 9 times negative 7, two negatives make a positive 63. And that's our first step. I say first step because we're not quite done here. We still have a little bit more left to do. Notice that I have 2 like terms in my box. I've got 2 x's. Okay? I am going to have to add those together. And there's a secret plus sign in here to remind you that that's what we're doing. Once I add those two, my job is done, though. So let's take a look. X squared is all by itself. There's nothing else to combine it with, so I'm going to bring it down. If I take negative 9x and add it to negative 7x, that's going to give me negative 16x. So that's what I get for combining my 2 terms. And then there's nothing to combine that 63 with, so I'm just going to bring it down. Plus 63. And that is going to be my final answer, because I've combined everything that can be combined. And so that leaves me with my correct answer right there. So x squared minus 16x plus 63. And if I look over at my options, that's going to be option D. Let's do another one together. So let's try number 10. And something I didn't quite mention before, but the reason why I know this is multiplying is because my 2 parentheses are right next to each other. That's always a good indication that we are multiplying. Addition problems have a plus sign in between them. Minus signs tell me that I have to subtract and distribute that negative 1. If there's nothing in between it, it's going to be multiplication. Okay. Let's do the same thing again here. First step, let's make our 2 by 2 box, because again, I've got 2 terms. And then another 2 terms. Make this as tidy as I can. And you can put them on whatever side you want. So you could put the x plus 4 on the left, or you could put it on the top. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you have 1 on each side. And it's also a good idea to include the signs, because if you've got negatives, as we saw before, you don't want to lose those. Okay? Again, x times x is x squared. I'll get negative 3x here, positive 4x here, and then negative 12 here. If I combine my like terms together, let's see, we'll have x squared. 4 minus 3 is just 1, so that'll just be plus, and it's positive 1, so I'll have plus x minus 12. So that is my correct answer, which is x squared plus x minus 12. That is going to be A. All right, we are on a roll, so let's keep rolling. Let's take a look at number 11. And ooh la la, number 11 looks a little weird, a little different than what we're used to. Number 11 is written slightly different. So the first thing you probably are picking up on is that I only have one parentheses, but there's a 2 exponent out there. So let's think for a second. I know that x squared is just another way of writing x times x, right? We showed that a minute ago. So that means that I can rewrite this as just 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5. So it's just that thing times itself twice. Which again, I have 2 parentheses, so I'm going to have to make a box. The only real difference here is that I'm going to have the same thing on the top and the left side because I'm squaring it. Fun fact, it's called making a square because if I have 2 things multiplying by each other, it actually makes the outline of the square that we see right here. Okay, we got to be a little careful here because it's not x times x, it's 2x times 2x. Well, we just do it separately. 2 times 2 is 4, and x times x is x squared. Okay, so just make sure you do both. 2x times 5 is going to be 10x. This is the same thing, so 10x here. And then 5 times 5 is 25. Just like before, I've got to combine my like terms. And so if I simplify that down here, I'll get 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. And this is my final answer, which over here looks like it's option B. Lots of B's on this one. All right, I am going to do a separate video for number 12 because it's a bit longer of a problem, so check back in for that one.